Did Jesse James, the legendary outlaw of the American West, really rob 20 banks and trains single-handedly in broad daylight? Or is it just another tall tale spun by the loom of time? Let's delve into the dusty pages of history to separate fact from fiction. There's a widely held belief that Jesse James was a sort of Robin Hood, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. It's a myth that paints Jesse as a hero of the downtrodden, a vigilante standing against the tyranny of the wealthy. But history tells a different story. Jesse James was no friend of the poor. He was a career criminal, and the wealth he stole lined only his own pockets. Another popular myth is that Jesse James was a noble rebel, a hero of the Confederate cause during the American Civil War. Again, historical records beg to differ. While it's true that Jesse James was a Confederate guerrilla during the war, his actions were far from noble. He was involved in war crimes, including the massacre of unarmed Union soldiers. There's also a myth that Jesse James met his end in a hail of bullets, dying a dramatic death during a daring bank robbery. However, the reality of his death was much less dramatic. Jesse James was shot in the back of the head by Robert Ford, a member of his own gang, for a reward of $10,000. There's no denying that Jesse James was a charismatic figure and his exploits have been romanticized over the years, but it's important to remember that he was not the hero many believe him to be. He was a criminal, a murderer, and his actions were driven by greed, not by a desire to fight for justice. In summary, the myths surrounding Jesse James paint him as a heroic outlaw, a Robin Hood figure who stole from the rich and gave to the poor, and a noble rebel who fought for the Confederate cause. However, the historical facts tell a different story. Jesse James was a career criminal who stole for his own gain, committed war crimes during the Civil War, and met a decidedly unheroic end at the hands of a member of his own gang. So the next time someone mentions Jesse James in the same breath as Robin Hood, remember the facts. Jesse James was no hero. He was an outlaw through and through. And while his life makes for a fascinating tale, it's important to separate the myth from the man.